It's true, I'm a licensed Dragonite collector in 3 states, and today we're going to be looking at my entire Dragonite collection. This is going to be a collection unlike any that you've seen before. That's because I don't just collect normal cards, instead I like to collect unique, strange, obscure, miscut and error cards. So today what we're going to do, we're going to start inside of the Dragonite binder, and then we're going to move on over to the slabs. While we will be going over all the cards that I have, I'm only going to go into big detail on the error cards. So the first page in here is all dark Dragonite from Team Rocket set. This is a really great off-center first edition copy. Probably one of my favorite dark Dragonite cards. We have a Japanese copy here. Over here we have one from Legendary Collection. This is a first edition non-holo, and this is the no holo error dark Dragonite. This is a very sought after error card. The no holo error happens to have the same set number as a normal holographic. And because of this one small misprint, this card has exploded in value. Then we have a Japanese crimped dark Dragonite. This one got crimped along the bottom by the pack sealer. And I believe these three are just some normal Japanese dark Dragonites. On to the next page. I had to pull this one out of the sleeve just to show that beautiful holographic. This is a special dark Dragonite. I believe this was from some sort of theme deck. And not only does it have the Cosmos holographic, but it also has this kind of rainbow, almost like confetti glitter-like holographic over the top. As we continue along, another Japanese dark Dragonite, and we have a Dark Dragonair. And that brings us down to this bad boy. This is a Game Boy promo Dragonite, and sadly a Japanese exclusive, so we didn't get this in English. This one came with the Pokemon trading card game Game Boy game. And again, this was a Japanese exclusive. I believe the English version of the game, we got the promo Meowth card maybe. And then we have VS Series Claire's Dragonite. This is another beautiful card that we never got in English. Honestly, how can you not like this little guy? I believe this is Dragonite from Majestic Dawn. We have a National Championship promo here. This is a reverse holo, and this one is a holographic error. A lot of holographics during the Diamond and Pearl era could have this really cool looking error. This is known as ghosting, and I believe it happens when there's excess white ink left on the printing plate. This one is sort of a tame looking version, and this Manaphy kind of shows just how crazy this can get. It almost looks like a holographic shift going on. But I'll always like how this error looks. It looks like the holographic just kind of goes up a little bit and then stops. Then we're moving on to the fossil Dragonites. Absolutely gorgeous artwork. I love the rainbow in the background. Here is a couple normal versions, and this is a Japanese. Honestly, don't have too many errors of this normal one. Here is a pretty decent off-center, almost a full miscut, and this one's actually a pretty twisted miscut version of a Japanese Dragonite. Even though it doesn't look extreme, Japanese miscut errors are pretty hard to find, and twisted ones are even harder. This looks like another just off-center copy to me. And that brings us over to this. This is a Miscut WB promo Dragonite. This was actually one of the promos they gave away at Pokemon's first move. And for how many that was printed, it's kind of crazy how it's hard to find miscuts of these cards. And the next page just happens to be one of my favorites. This is like the golden Dragonite page. I had a dream to collect an entire page worth of these miscut Dragonite EXs from Evolutions. And because of the quality control from Evolutions, this is actually possible. So I have some shifted down, this one shifted to the right, this one shifted down, this one shifted to the right, this one is shifted up, this one again to the right, and this one is down. None to the left, which is really weird. Then we have two Miscut Dragonite EXs up here. This one's just off center, and this one is a full miscut. And this next page of Dragonites requires a lot to be taken out. We just have this standard full art. We have this beautiful Dragonite V alt art. It was a little damaged when I bought it, so I got it out of steel. Looks like an off center Dragonite V here. And this is where we're gonna have to take him out. This is a Japanese Dragonite V with a gloss layer shift. All of these V cards had this gloss layer that sort of went over the Pokemon and other parts of the card, but didn't quite cover everything. And for a lot of these Japanese ones, we're able to find these really cool gloss layer shifts, almost similar to a holographic shift. And this didn't just happen in Japanese, this also happened in English copies as well. The gloss layer was a bit different for the English prints. The Japanese is more of like a texture gloss, more of 3D. This one's more of like a 2D gloss layer. Still leaves a pretty cool effect though. Then we have a miscut copy of that same Dragonite here. This is a Japanese Dragonite V-Star with that same sort of gloss layer. This one's more of like a texture shift. Since the V-Stars actually had a texture, yeah, this is more of a texture shift than just the gloss layer. We have a miscut English copy of that Dragonite V-Star. And then we have a Miscut Dragonite GX. I believe this is from Team Up Set. And then on to the next page, we have a Rainbow Rare GX, which was actually a promo, believe it or not. And we have this holographic half art. Maybe was it from Roaring Skies? I think it was Roaring Skies. And this next one doesn't really look like a Dragonite at all. But let me just take these guys out of the binder and you'll be able to see why they're all together. This isn't your average Dragonite miscut. Instead, it is a huge connecting Dragonite miscut. That's right, all of these miscut cards are from Furious Fists, and they all seem to connect to each other. Believe it or not, these are not true miscuts, they are actually misalignments. A misalignment happens when the front and back centering are different. And because of the centering difference, we also have what looks like a texture shift going on. Believe it or not, the texture is actually where it should be, and the front of the card is what's actually shifted. But all of these connecting errors also have that same misalignment and what looks like a texture shift. Is there a 100% guarantee that these cards actually connect and they came from the sheet together? No, definitely not a guarantee, but you can definitely tell that this card is what is above the Dragonite, and this Dragonite's what is above the Heracross. Safe to say, this is probably one of my favorite Dragonite EX miscuts, or just Dragonite miscuts in general. And now we are back to the binder. This one is another WB Dragonite miscut card, just a little less miscut than the other, more off-center. My newest addition, this is a full art Dragonite V miscut, showing a bit of the next card at the top there. And then down here is just a couple Dragonite FB League promos with the crosshatch holographic. I'm a huge fan of League promos in general, so pretty pumped that they had some Dragonite League promos. This page is Dragonairs. We are gonna completely forget this exists. This is the Dragonite Collection. Back to some more. These are actually a few custom cards that I was gifted for Christmas. But this Dragonite that is in the shape of the original Charizard is probably my favorite. Couple Cosmos holographic Dragonites. I believe one or two of these were actually Canadian Costco promos, like Canadian Costco exclusives. And down here we have a Meji Dragonite. This card would have came in with like a box of chocolate or something like that. We have a couple off centers from Dragon Vault here. This is the Dragonite. I love the crosshatch holographic. And with that, we're pretty much done with the Dragonite binder. And it's time to break back out the slabs. We have a misaligned Dragonite V-Star. This is from Pokemon Go. We can tell there's actually a full art card above it here. And because it's misaligned, the front is shifted and the back is centered. Another Dragonite from Pokemon Go, though this was more of a promo card. Lucky for me, promos get miscut a lot more often than normal cards. And this is one beautiful miscut. This is another Dragonite V with one of those gloss layer shifts. Like I said, it's always a little tough to see, especially when I have glare on the actual slab here, but the actual gloss layer is shifted up on this card. I don't collect a lot of tops, but this was a miscut Dragonite tops that I had to pick up. 100% normal first edition Dark Dragonite. I typically don't collect high grades of normal cards like this, but Dark Dragonite was my favorite, so I had to pick it up. Not only one Dragonite fossil off-center, but two Dragonite fossil off-centers. Another one of these golden Dragonite EXs. This is going to go in the binder one day. I am one card off from completing that binder page. This Japanese Dragonite was graded a 9 OC from PSA. OC stands for off-center. But believe it or not, this should have got an MC grade, which is full miscut, because on the backside here, we can see the next card at the bottom. PSA did it again. This is a really cool insufficient ink error Dark Dragonite. For all of the holographics from Team Rocket set, you could find insufficient black ink. At first glance, it's a little hard to notice, but when I put it side by side with a normal copy, you can really tell the difference. One of the biggest differences is like the shadowing Dragonite's body, as well as that border. That border is a lot more gold than this kind of darkish gray. I believe this is a pretty strong example of the error, but you can also find lesser versions. And last but not least, we have another Dragonite EX miscut from Evolutions. And PSA did give it the MC grade, so good on them for that. And with that, we've completed my entire collection. These bad boys have taken me years and years to collect. And honestly, I'm pretty proud and passionate of what I've actually been able to find. If you made it through this whole video, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe.